Alright guys, welcome to Flavo Rihanna's MMA show. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. Alright guys, so the UFC ended up announcing a mega card, and you know what? It's official. Yes, it's gonna happen. The UFC is returning back to New York City. Alright guys, yes, I am very happy about that because yes, I live in New York City, and whenever the UFC comes to New York, they always got to do it big. UFC 205, that was one of the best UFC cards of all time. You had Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez in the main event. That was for the lightweight title. Conor was trying to become, and which he ended up becoming, the first ever double champ. He had Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Yeah, you had Khabib in the prelims. Yes, Khabib Nurmagomedov was in the prelims. He was fighting Michael Johnson. We ended up having Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. That was a great fight because Karolina Kowalkiewicz was undefeated. I believe Joanna was undefeated as well too. So that was phenomenal. That was a 3-fight title fight card. I can't remember exactly who were the others. I believe Masvidal was on that card or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it was phenomenal stuff. UFC 205. Then we had the card with George St. Pierre versus Michael Bisping. George St. Pierre makes his return back into the octagon. Him trying to become double champ status. Him fighting the champ Michael Bisping, the middleweight champion, which GSP ends up becoming the middleweight champion, and then ends up retiring after he wins the belt. We also had the infamous TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt. Garbrandt was champion. Dillashaw ends up getting the belt back. Ends up becoming a 2-time UFC bantamweight champ. That was some good stuff. Then we also had Daniel Cormier versus Derek Lewis. That was a good fight. And then in 2019, we had Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz for the BMF title. All right. I would say the acronyms, but this is going to be on YouTube, so can't really say it. But now we're going to have it for UFC 268 because there was no card in MSG last year, unfortunately, because of the pandemic. We were going to have, yes, and I say it, the rematch that I've been looking forward to, the rematch that you guys been looking forward to, all right? Kamaru Usman, and man, oh man, this guy is always headlining stack cards, and I'll give you guys my reasoning behind it. But Kamaru Usman versus Colby Chaos Covington. Yes, that is going to be the main event for UFC 268, the most anticipated rematch in quite some time. All right, yes, I know that we had a rematch earlier with Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic, but man, oh man, this is so much higher than any type of rematch. You know, we also had a rematch of Davidson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. But there's something about this rematch, the rivalry, the bad blood that they have against one another, that just shows on how much these guys hate each other. And we as fans love to see two people want to go at it. Because that first one back at UFC 245 was something special. All right. And that card was a phenomenal card. That's when you saw the new era in the featherweight division of Volkanovski getting the belt off of Max Holloway, and Amanda Nunes versus Durandamy. All right. But, man, oh, man. Usman versus Covington. I can't wait. I'm waiting for tickets to go on sale so I could buy them right at that second. Okay. And Covington, we haven't seen him fight since September. So it's going to be over a year since he last fought. But he's been begging for this rematch. He's been begging to have another crack at Kamaru Usman. And you know what? I don't know if he gets it. I don't know if he's going to be able to beat Usman this time. We ended up seeing a big progression in Kamaru Usman's game now that he's been teaming up with Trevor Whitman. All right, huge progression. We've seen Usman knock out Jorge Masvidal, right, at UFC 261. We've seen Usman hurt and knock out Gilbert Burns. Not towards the level that he knocked down Masvidal, but Burns landed a great punch on Usman and rocked him. All right, I don't care what Usman said, that he's saying that he wasn't hurt or anything like that. He made him go towards the floor. It was a knockdown, And Burns, he went Cody Garbrandt. He just saw all right, and he gassed himself out and allowed Usman to hurt him. But we've seen huge progressions in Kamaru Usman's game now that he's been teaming up with Trevor Whitman. He has Justin Gaethje as his sparring partner, which that is a very, very violent sparring partner to have over there. But yeah, that's the main event. I can't wait. All right, I'm not even thinking about who's gonna win or not, and I'm not gonna even make you guys even comment or tell me guys through text who you guys think is gonna win. But if you don't watch this fight, I don't care if you're a fight fan or not. If you don't watch this fight, there's something wrong with you. Because if you want to see pure violence at the highest entertaining level that is possible, you watch this card. If you have nothing, if you want to live a boring life, then go do boring things. But this is a card that you guys should definitely watch. Just because, as I announced it from top to bottom, I almost ended up, screaming at the top of my lungs and going ballistic in my living room when I saw this, as I was watching UFC Vegas 35. But this card over here, this card might be better than UFC 205. And for the co-main event, we're having another rematch. And this is another pupil of Trevor Whitman's camp. Rose Namajunas, yes, she's going to be defending her belt in a rematch against not Carla Esparza. It's going to be the rematch of Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas. That's a great fight because we didn't really see much in that first fight, and Rose landed a great kick. She set it up very well, but I firmly do believe that things will be different this time. I don't think Zhang Weili is going to get knocked out inside of the first minute and a half. You want to call that a fluke, fine. But we'll see what happens come November 6th. Because Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili is going to be a barn burner. All right. I think, honestly, this is going to go 4 rounds. I don't think it's going to go all 5 rounds. But I'm thinking that this is going to go 4 rounds. And somebody's going to get badly hurt. All right. Whether it's, Namajunas or Zhang Weili. We've seen Zhang Weili go all 5 rounds. We've seen Rose go all out against Jessica Andrade on Fight Island. But this is going to be a very special fight, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know which fight I'm looking. Well, yes, I'm lying, but I'm looking more forward towards the main event. The co-main event is just a cherry on top, and I don't even like cherries like that. Third fight on the card. Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Yes, guys, I know I announced this earlier, I think a few weeks ago, but this is just pure violence over here. Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. This is just like every fight fan's dream to watch. And if you have friends that don't watch MMA, make them watch this card. Make them watch Gaethje versus Chandler. All right, someone's gonna get their head knocked out. All right, someone's head's gonna be decapitated, and they're gonna go into section 111. That's how violent this fight's going to be, all right? We've seen Chandler fight for the belt, and yes, he rushed in and he got dropped by Charles Oliveira. We've seen Gaethje take a huge beating from Tony Ferguson, but he gave it right back to Tony Ferguson in a way that nobody's ever beaten up on Tony Ferguson. And then he ended up fighting for the belt against Khabib Nurmagomedov, where nobody really just... He had the right game plan, but, Khabib's wrestling is just so overpowering that he really had no answer towards it. And he doesn't want to wrestle because he says it's boring. But he had the right game plan against Khabib when he was hurting the lead leg of Khabib, forcing Khabib to wrestle with him. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Gaethje versus Chandler. We haven't seen Chandler fight since October. And it's going to be well over a year since he fights. So that's the fight that I'm looking forward to. And then we also have Sean Strickland versus the return of Luke Rockhold. Now, we haven't seen Luke Rockhold since he got decapitated by the light heavyweight champ, Jan Blachowicz, who's going to be fighting the week before at UFC 267, which that is a free pay-per-view, guys. Free pay-per-view. Sean Strickland looked phenomenal in his fight against Uriah Hall. Now he's facing a pure, striker, a guy that can hurt you from top to bottom using his kicks, fighting within range. Let's see how this works with Sean Strickland. I'm very looking forward to that fight. I think that fight is gonna go all 3 rounds, and who knows. The biggest question mark is how's Luke Rockhold's chin gonna hold up. He hasn't fought in quite some time, but he's been training, so we'll see what happens. And then next is Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Chito Vera. Guys, I am half Ecuadorian. I'm gonna be rooting hard for the pride of Ecuador, Chito Vera. I like Frankie Edgar, but I'm gonna choose Marlon Chito Vera over Frankie Edgar in this one. Let's see what happens. Frankie Edgar, last time we saw him, he got put to sleep against Corey Sandhagen with a flying knee. And it was one of the scariest things I've seen quite some times because, man, nobody really knocks out Frankie Edgar. I mean, the first person to knock him out was Brian Ortega. And now that Corey Sandhagen's doing this, I mean, who knows? Maybe the chin is starting to disappear. But it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a true test for Marlon Vera to see if he's going to be able to climb up the ladder in that very stacked bantamweight division. I mean, he is ranked, I believe, ranked 13, and Edgar, he is ranked 8. So Vera wins. He's inside that top 10. Vera loses. It's a good possibility he drops down and maybe possibly out of the top 15. And if Frankie Edgar wins, he's pushing himself closer and closer to getting inside that top 5 and possibly challenging for a belt. And I think he might be the first one to ever challenge for a belt in 3 different weight classes, which that would be something very interesting in. And then next we have Jermaine Durandamy versus Irene Aldana. Wow, we haven't seen Jermaine Durandamy fight in quite some time. I believe it was last year that she ended up fighting, if not the year before. But Irene Aldana, she ended up fighting on the Conor McGregor card, Conor versus Dustin Poirier in July. And she ended up fighting Yana Kunitskaya, who shockingly was pregnant at that time when she while she was fighting Irene Aldana. Some scary stuff right there, guys. But this is going to be a true litmus test for Irene Aldana. Can she beat the Iron Lady, or is the Iron Lady still a top 2 bantamweight? But yeah, guys, I mean, I'm looking forward to that fight. The Pride of Mexico, great boxer. She might be the best boxer on the women's roster in the UFC versus the Iron Lady, who has some powerful hands. And we saw her drop Aspen Ladd. We see her drop opponents. We saw her choke out, I think it was a Juliana Pena, I think back in October, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, guys, I mean, I'm very looking forward to this fight. This could be something special in the women's bantamweight division, which hasn't had any type of traction, all right, since the belt hasn't been defended in the last almost 2 years. And then lastly, we're going to have fan favorite Bobby Green. Yes, Bobby Green, we saw him last fight, Rafael Fiziev. He's making a quick turnaround to fight the man who has disappeared. We feel like we haven't seen him fight since he lost to Khabib. I think last time he ended up fighting was against Dan Hooker. But man, oh man, the real estate agent, the pride of Long Island, Al Iaquinta, is making a return. So conveniently, he is fighting in New York. Al Iaquinta versus Bobby King Green. That's a fight that, you know what, my boy Marco is definitely going to want to watch this fight because he loves Crazy Al. And Bobby King Green is just a fan favorite that any fan would love to watch him fight. The man does 20-minute rounds of sparring, which is crazy because I wish I could have that type of cardio. But yeah, this is gonna be a crazy fight. This is gonna be a crazy card, guys. I want to see a lot of fight fans and introduce more fight fans into MMA, and this will be the perfect card to have them, watch. November 6th, guys. November 6th, MSG, Usman versus Colby Covington, Part 2. That's going to be the main event. So then, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Please hit the like and subscribe button, guys. And let me guys know what you guys think. Is this the best UFC card of the year? And will this card live up to expectations? So until then, I'll see you guys later. And peace, guys. Have a good one. See ya.